If you've followed me for any length of time, you know I'm a big believer in the compound effect, in the idea of small incremental actions taken over time and how they compound for remarkable results. I'm a big believer in almost what you might call 1% solutions, especially kind of if you're at the top of your game, right? You're not going to be making huge leaps forward necessarily, but you're going to get 1% better all the time, over and over again, which will compound to greater success. And today I want to share with you one of the things that actually goes counter to that, something that really in one morning brought me forward quite a bit. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. One of the items I have is the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving. And when you are a process server, you don't necessarily interact with the courts a lot, but you're down at the file room, you're filing return of service. Maybe you're picking up service packs that the clerk's office has prepared for you if you're not getting them directly from the law office. And knowing a little bit about the courthouse and how things happen down there is very helpful. This is a time that took me that great leap forward from not knowing a whole bunch to knowing much, much more in just one morning. And it's odd because it goes against kind of a fundamental idea. Don't give your work away for free, charge what you're worth. But what I did is, this is just decades ago when I worked loss prevention. The company had a court liaison. This was a man who would go down to the courthouse and file all the charges against people and then show up when their hearing dates came up. I did not know anything about this process or how to do this. I mean, I knew how to file the charges because occasionally I'd have to go down there and do that. But the idea of going down on a hearing day and different courtrooms and dealing with the prosecutor and those types of things, I just had no idea. And I asked him, I cleared it with my boss and management up through and spoke with him. And I said, can I shadow you one morning? Pick one morning when you're going down there. Let me know and I'll come down. And I told my bosses it's off the clock. You don't have to pay me. I want to learn the process. And they were fine with that. Our court liaison himself was very happy to do that because what nobody really understood about his position was he was the only guy who could do it. He really struggled to take time off of any matter of days, because there would always be things coming up down at the courthouse that he had to deal with. So I shadowed him one morning. I just met him down at the courthouse, and he walked me through and showed me what happened. And one of the first things I realized that was, how in the world could you handle this? You know, almost all the court appearances, at least where we do it locally, everybody is scheduled to show up at 9:30. Your hearing time is 9:30. And no matter what courtroom you've got, no matter what's going on. And what they really mean is you have to check in by 9:30, and then you sit and wait until your case is called, and then you make your plea or you speak to the magistrate or judge or whatever it is that's going on. So the first thing that I noticed is we had, half a dozen subpoenas to show up on different cases, all at 9:30 in like 4 different courtrooms. He explained to me very quickly, look, we just go in with each courtroom, we check in with the prosecutor, we leave him. Back then it was a pager number. Yeah, here's my pager number. If you need me, page me. And that was how it was handled. Now, it doesn't sound like very much, but it's a big deal when you don't know anything. And if you've gone down to court any number of times, I've been down there quite a bit, it's always a mess there in the morning because you have a ton of people. Now, you've got a lot of your repeat offenders. This is not their first rodeo, but you have all the victims. They're not used to coming down there, maybe have never been down there before, and they're all subpoenaed on the same day, usually for nothing. We rarely had to do anything when we showed up at court because the person would go up and, like 9 out of 10 times they would ask for a continuance. Well, there's no reason for us to have a court liaison sitting around for hours one morning waiting to hear a guy say he needs a continuance and then getting it. And this is just a criminal defense technique, and I'm not good, bad, ugly. It's available to them. It's legal. So it's very common. So, for example, if a bad guy were to steal a lawnmower out of somebody's shed out back, he's going to show up for all of his court dates and get continuance after continuance. Meanwhile, the victim has to take the day off work. They have to deal with, getting childcare for the kid if they're not in school. They have to deal with all these problems and show up for court only for the guy to ask for a continuance. And sooner or later, the victim's not going to show up. The bad guy, the suspect, the defendant is going to say, I'm ready today. Let's do this. They're going to look around. There's no victim, no crime, and it's going to get dismissed. So I learned a lot about how to handle things down there just in that one morning, that simple trip, and I'm sharing it with you. If you get a chance, when the courts open back up after the pandemic, to go down, to sit one morning and kind of watch what happens and listen and see what side the prosecutor's on and what side the defense, their podium is on, where they go. Just learn these things. It's one morning. What's it really going to cost you? For a lot of people, it's not like you're really taking the day off of work necessarily. You're going down there when you might be doing something else much less valuable. So if you can take a day and do this, learn a little bit about it, it will help you quite a bit. Otherwise, really focus your life on these incremental successes that are going to bring you forward 1% at a time. Again, if you're getting 1% better every day, after 10 days, that's quite a leap forward that you're going to find much more difficult to make at one time. If you have examples in your life where you've made a dramatic leap forward by doing something that just took you a day or a weekend or whatever it might be, where doing something really advanced your knowledge level quickly and in a giant leap versus these little baby steps that we usually use, please let me know. I would love to know about them. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.